Pentagon says it will immediately begin removing as many as 1,000 transgender troops from the military. The Defense Department says other service members will be given 30 days to self-identify, backed by Tuesday's Supreme Court decision, which allowed the Trump administration to enforce the ban on transgender military members. The department says it will go through medical records to identify others who haven't come forward.
The Trump administration, as well as the Supreme Court, has put out a pledge. The days are numbered for the transgender military personnel. The military has over 2.9 million active service workers. 2.9 million. And of the transgender that they're putting out of the military, I've heard multiple numbers. It started with 1,000, and I heard as many as 4,000. Whichever number that you go with, you're speaking of about maybe anywhere from 0.5% to 2% of military personnel that will no longer be employed by the U.S. government. So with that, it shows now a lot of people are fighting, but how did 1% of the population get this type of power to whereas it became a platform to have transgender people to be in the military? Because at one time that was not allowed. At one time that wasn't even a thought process because their mental strength was questioned. And whatever side of the aisles we are on that, whether we say that it is mental challenges for those people or that it is normal, the reality is we've never been that way and no other nation flows like this. This is only in America. And so America, we explore many things. We attempt to do so much. We push the envelope for whatever the reasons are behind the scenes. And we call it freedom. And yes, but freedom comes with consequences. And it appears that the Trump administration, MEGA, and many others are recognizing the Supreme Court, Congress, the consequences that are coming against America. Some people may call those consequences judgment. Excuse me. The judgment is based on understanding what the scriptures say on why judgment comes. And when it comes to the transgender, that qualifies. When it comes to the abortions, that qualifies. And so America has made decisions to no longer go down that path. Why is it? Well, we're not going to hear because of judgment or the potential of judgment, but it is possible that the president, as well as the cabinet, the Senate, the Supreme Court, are trying to get ahead of that challenge for America. It's about safety. It's about sovereignty. Because when judgment comes, it's coming hard. And so people have voted for Trump to be in office, that being one of the main reasons, the abortion area and that of transgenderism, same sex. So it's a battle for many people, the 1%, and they're hurt by it and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And it brings me to a particular gentleman, and he was in the military during 2013. He's been there for a while. His name was Chris Beck. You can look him up. He had transitioned in 2013. And recently, not long after, he transitioned back to being a man. And one of his quotes was, he said that ruined his life. In other words, what he said is that he became a Christian. He became an American. America is a Christian nation. And because America has confessed that it is a Christian nation, America must abide by the policies of Christ or deal with the consequences, which is also known as judgment. It doesn't stop there. It's much more that has to be done to avoid judgment. We're in that hour right now of judgment. And the Trump administration is doing whatever it can to repeal those areas. That's the practice. Started with Bill Clinton. Back then, I can recall they called that movement with during Clinton's time, they called it Clinton's Army. When he said, don't tell. That's who you are, but don't tell. Keep it to yourself. But you can be in our military. And even then, people said, well, the envelope has been put out there, and they're going to push it to take it to new levels. And we've later seen what those new levels are. And look, the guy, Chris Beck, he was, get this, a Navy SEAL. A Navy SEAL. And he said that he made a mistake. Our nation is figuring it out. And they're figuring it out for the purpose of saving this country from judgment. Give me some comments. Give me your opinion. If it opposes of what I'm stating, please send it and I'll respond to what you're saying and share my thoughts further if that's what you're asking for. But I appreciate you all for being here. Make sure you give us one of those. Subscribe. We're beyond the noise because this is what was brought to you, the noise. We're a subsidiary of Kingdom Builders Ministry. I am Leonard Lewis Butler, and thank you for being here with us.